Thank you for tuning in to Gloves Off Seattle. Your hosts, Patti and Meagan, will be talking about all things Seattle women's hockey. A huge Pacific Northwest welcome to the PWHL. Gloves Off Seattle! Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Gloves Off Seattle.
Gloves Off Seattle.
Like that. We're going to do it that way, I think, maybe. Hi, I'm Meagan.
I'm Patti.
And for those watching, don't adjust your television screen. I did just chop all my hair off, so my hair is considerably shorter than the last time everybody saw me. So
This is coming out in soon.
I know, yeah.
This is gonna be shown in order,
It is, yeah. We'll talk a little bit. We'll back up a little bit. Last week we did a pre-recorded episode, an episode that we recorded actually quite a long time ago about the rules because we were on vacation.
We were on vacation.
You want to talk about vacation?
We could talk about vacation.
Well, we need to talk about vacation because we need to talk about the reason why we weren't together for the draft. So I'll introduce the show today. So we have decided that for the next 6 weeks, we're going to spend 1 week, we're going to one episode each week talking about our 6 draft picks from the draft that happened. Gosh, was that just last week?
No, it wasn't last week because we worked all week, right?
But it was last week. No, because today is Saturday.
I mean, but it wasn't last Monday. It was
the
Monday
Tuesday.
before. Wasn't last Tuesday. It was the Tuesday before.
No, it was one Tuesday ago.
You worked last Tuesday.
I didn't. This is really funny, guys. This is really funny. So let's look up the date of the PWHL draft.
It's the 24th.
It was the 24th. You know what date it was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's look at the calendar.
Oh, uh-oh, what are you adding?
I was adding my tattoo. Sorry, everybody gets to know our business. So the 24th was last Tuesday.
Okay, but I'm saying there was a Tuesday that was here, and it wasn't this.
Oh,
it wasn't the very.
It wasn't this
first
Tuesday. It wasn't this Tuesday. Okay,
that's what I meant.
it was almost 2 weeks ago, guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
That took a long time to get there.
That took a long time for us to get there. Welcome to podcasting with a married couple. Okay, so we were saying we were on vacation, and so that's why on Monday we put out an episode that was pre-recorded because we didn't
for 12 and a half hours on Sunday.
We drove for 12 and a half hours on Sunday. We didn't have time to podcast while we were on vacation or the weekend before that because we were on vacation. So thankfully we had a really beautiful, wonderful long vacation in Lake Tahoe, and we brought a lot of our family with us, and so it was
a great vacation.
It was good, but Patti has a new job, and so she had to fly home during the week to work. And so we were not together on Tuesday, the 24th to watch the PWHL draft. So where did you watch the draft?
I was at the Rough and Tumble with my friends Brian and Ava, and we watched the draft there live from Ottawa.
Well, it was in Ottawa. You were in Seattle.
We were in Seattle. So, and it was good because we won a t-shirt in the raffle.
We won a t-shirt in the raffle.
It was an official PWHL
Seattle t-shirt. It actually, oh no, it doesn't look like that.
It doesn't look like
it actually has, I should have worn it.
Maybe.
I'll wear it. Well, I already wore it once this week, so it's dirty.
Yeah. And I got to wash lights. So married couple podcast.
And then I was still I was back in Tahoe in our Airbnb, and I subjected the entire clan to the PWHL draft. And I said, hey guys, this is what I'm doing tonight. You can do whatever the heck you want to do. Even to my 2 children, I was like, y'all can do whatever the heck you want to do. Run amok. Whatever.
Did they? What did they do?
Oh, they just played. They didn't care.
I was going to say there were 3 more TVs.
Yeah. No, they didn't care. Anyway, so long story short,
in the Airbnb. It was a big house.
It was a big house, but it was very fun, and we got into it. Dad was even into it. Dad and I I was joking with our friend Brian that I was like, my poor dad is being subjected to all this hockey talk because Patty's not here and not having anybody to talk to about it. So we had great discussions about the draft and what was going on and why it was going on. And even some of some of the other family members were asking about the hockey and kind of getting into it. So it was fun.
Get everyone into hockey.
Well, we're definitely gonna try and get everybody into hockey. So so we were apart. I was texting, they were all together. We have a group chat, so it was funny because I was texting the group chat and they were all talking and someone would text me back, So no, it was a good time. I felt like I was there in spirit, even though I wasn't there in person. So shout out to the Rough and Tumble for hosting, the draft experience. Yeah, so we really appreciate them and we will frequent them as much as we can. So today on the episode that will be coming out on Monday, July, what is it, 7th? Yes, because today's the 5th, it's Saturday night. We are going to be talking about Jenna Buglioni, which is our first round draft
Our
pick.
first draft pick ever.
Yes,
Okay,
the
I mean,
inaugural.
yeah,
Yeah,
we had
the
the expansion
inaugural,
draft, but
not the
that doesn't
expansion.
count.
Yeah, not the expansion
Not
draft.
that it doesn't count.
No,
Just,
no, it counts, but
yeah,
it's not a
our first drafted player.
well, it's not new players into the league. Like that's what's really
Yes.
exciting about, to me, that's what's really exciting about the draft is that these are new players in the league. So I've created a spreadsheet. That's what we're looking at over here. I've created a spreadsheet and I started filling stuff in, and I haven't even gotten to all the people that we picked up during the free agency because I just haven't had time because of between vacation and work and all that kind of stuff. But we did do some deep diving on Jenna, and I hope Jenna, it's okay that we call you by your first name. We're going to call you by your first name
I hope so.
because I don't know. I mean, I guess we don't have to, but we're going to. But yeah, we did a little deep dive on her and we learned a little bit about her. But it was really fun. I thought it was really fun to watch the draft. There were some fun, exciting trades that happened during the draft. So that was really interesting too, that they kind of opened up the trade window that could happen during the draft. So there was a couple of gotchas. I mean, I felt like
Yeah.
that people weren't expecting, but one of those is kind of the goalie situation, which we'll talk about um, in the next.
Maybe a little bit, but that's not Seattle. So,
No, no. But I'm saying like
well, I mean, we
we
had
chose a
yeah.
goalie and then anyway, but that's too, that's coming. We'll talk about that when we actually talk about when we talk
Our
about
goalie
Hannah
pick.
Murphy. Yeah, the
Yeah,
goalie pick. So but today we're gonna talk about Jenna.
next week.
Yeah, and we're gonna do that next week. So today we'll talk about Jenna and what we know about her and what we're excited about her. So the first thing I want to say is she is a Pacific Northwest girl. So that makes me really excited. She gets to come home and
Yeah.
home, she's on the other side of the border from home,
British
but
Columbian,
yeah,
but still home to the Pacific Northwest, hiker,
yeah,
loves the area, I'm sure, because
yeah,
it's all, it's very similar. So we're happy to have her come back to the PNW.
yeah. And I mean, I'm assuming her family's still here. This is where she grew up in this area, so she gets to be close. And she played, it looks like she played for it's the BC Elite Hockey League. I'm assuming when she was, in the PB, that's a PB league or a whatever. I don't know what they
Younger
call them,
league.
a younger league.
Yeah.
But she did that, and it looks like she was really successful there.
Hmm.
And she also played in U18 for U18 Canada in
Hmm.
the IHF. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's been playing hockey for a while obviously.
Yeah.
But
And was the highest pick out of Ohio State. Um,
of all the Ohio
yeah.
State
Six came
draftees,
from Ohio State, and she was the highest pick, so eighth overall.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was trying to see if there was any other people that were Ohio State people that we already had on the team. And who did I say? I don't remember now.
Yeah, was it
It was Hannah Bilka.
yeah, Hannah Bilka.
Hannah Bilka went to Ohio State. Oh wait, somebody else did too. Uh, I love my spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Kayla Barnes. I said
Right.
that
Yeah,
because
you did say
I
that.
was doing a deep dive on Instagram and I saw them all together on Instagram. So Kayla Barnes, and Hannah Bilka both went to Ohio State. And I don't know, we can get into my whole NCAA eligibility conversation
We
if you
can
want to
get
get into
into that,
that
but
now.
I love I love my wife and her spreadsheets, but of the leftatorium, it's like left, 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 and then Jenna's right.
She's the right.
She does shoot right,
Yeah.
and it's allowed. It's allowed. We don't all have to shoot
I
left.
don't know. Megan Turner likes her some lefties, so I'm not sure that righties are allowed, but we got one. Yeah. So Jenna is she's right-handed forward. So
Yeah.
what else?
And killed it at Ohio State. Was a captain her senior year. Her senior year.
Well, so this was the conversation that I've been having around a lot of these players because a lot of them are of the age that they were in college during COVID.
COVID.
And so I actually, Brian, you'll be so proud of me. I actually went and looked up the information rather than leaving it to somebody else to tell me that, because I keep seeing this, that there's a lot of these players played 5 years collegiately. And the reason is that for people that don't know, and everybody's probably like, well, duh, Megan, I already knew that, but I didn't know it, so I'm going to explain it, that the 2021 fall and winter sports seasons did not count towards eligibility. So they got 4 years of eligibility that they could play, but they could stretch that over 6 years because of COVID. And they and so those were the new rules for NCAA, and they dropped that 2021 season as a year of play. So a lot of these players, because of the ages that they are, got to play 5 years during college, including Jenna Buglioni.
Love it.
Buglioni.
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 Buglioni. And if we're saying it wrong, someone please
Better tell
let
us.
us know.
Yeah.
But we listened to the way they announced at the draft and they said Buglioni, so that's what we're going with. What else? What else should we talk about with her?
She's another on the shorter side.
Oh yeah,
5'3".
she's a shorty. She's a shorty.
We love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a stat that you picked out that she had the most shorthanded goals.
Most shorthanded goals, 3 in a season, which is a lot. And
Yeah.
you know, with our jailbreak rule, we love that. So bring those shorties.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like she's a powerhouse. It sounds like she's a scorer. I mean, obviously, and also she's an academic. I think that you said she was also, didn't you say something about her being a smarty too?
Did I say that?
I thought you did. I thought you were
Hmm.
reading off. I mean, if you're not, Jenna, we're sorry, but honestly,
Yes.
most of the women on these
Very
teams are very smart and have multiple. And she went to graduate school. I mean, she did at least 1 year of graduate school in her
Mhm.
last year at Ohio State. So yeah, and she played hockey. So I think that's to me that's just amazing.
Right.
So
And this is really our first time we've ever had a pulse on NCAA. So
yeah.
we're newbies at this, and we are not ashamed to admit that at all.
Oh no, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know very little about NCAA anything, let alone NCAA women's hockey.
Hockey. We are all learning this together, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I'm just like, what other NCAA? I don't know. I mean, I lived in Dallas for many, many years, and I mean, like UT, which is not in Dallas, but like everybody was a UT. It was either Texas A&M or UT, and those are,
You had to be one or the
well,
other,
it's like
right?
it really was. It felt that way. It
It's a
was very
huge
strange.
rivalry too,
It was
right?
very strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry if we have any Texas people out there. I actually went to a University of Texas school. My undergrad is from University of Texas at Dallas.
Okay.
There you go. I know,
And
just
you
a
weren't
random fact.
you didn't go to football games or any of that?
We didn't have a football team. Oh yeah, no, this is a really interesting factoid about me is that University of Texas at Dallas is a nerd school. We had a chess team. We did not have a football team. We had a soccer team. We had a really good soccer team, but no football team.
Hey, my collegiate mascot was a banana slug. Okay, so we didn't have a lot of big
Did you
time
have a football
sports
team?
leagues either. Absolutely not. No, we did not. No, I think we had some sports teams, but I don't know what they were.
Sports balls. That's what I called sports before I met Patty. I'm like the sports balls.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So what else do we want to talk about? I'm sorry. Like Patty said, we're learning in the NCAA space. Like this is brand new to us. I don't know anything about other than I know there are just it seems like, and again, like we can have a conversation about this in the comments or whatever, that there is very few there are just a handful of very competitive NCAA women's hockey teams.
Hmm.
Like, well, because when you look at where people went to school, and it's interesting too, this is the other really interesting thing to me, is all the Canadian players come play in the
In the
United
United
States.
States. Yeah.
And why is that? Why do the Canadian players come play in the United States if Canada is such a hockey nation?
That's a very good question, which I don't know the answer to. I mean, I know there's the men Frozen Four, and they play, and I'm sure the
What is
women do
that?
too.
I'm sorry, what? What are you talking about?
When you're talking about basketball and the Final Four and the Sweet 16 and all
Oh,
that.
right,
There's
right.
there's the same thing for hockey, and they do that. It's called the Frozen Four and the Final Two or something. I don't know. And they play for the college championship.
Oh,
So, and they do it for women too. So maybe
interesting.
there's just a little more competitiveness in the
In
United States.
in the United States. It's really interesting. Like I'm looking through the schools that I have so far, Wisconsin, Colgate, Boston College, Ohio State,
Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota,
Quinnipiac,
the state of hockey.
yeah,
So
Quinnipiac, Ohio, Colgate, St. Lawrence. St. Lawrence,
I think,
is that a US school?
yeah, can we
Minnesota?
look that up?
I think that that's maybe not a US
No,
school.
Quinnipiac, that's what we thought was, but
Quinnipiac
it's
is
not.
not. That's in
It's not what we
Connecticut.
thought it
It's a
was. It
US
sounds
school.
Canadian, doesn't it sound
Yeah, it
Canadian?
sounds very Canadian.
Yeah.
And Megan Turner also went to Quinnipiac.
Yeah.
So Yes, but I think it's all U.S. schools. Like that's the really interesting thing is that we have a very mixed team between American and Canadian. And so, hey Jenna, if you want to like chime in, why did you choose Ohio State? Like why did you not go to a Canadian school? Like that's a I mean, and maybe you're right. Maybe it's just because they're more competitive as far as collegiate hockey goes. What about the NHL? Do where do Canadian players play for
Yeah, definitely.
American schools, US
Yeah.
schools?
Yeah.
Huh. It's very interesting. I just wonder if that there is the instance that like this is just now I'm curious in my mind. Like, is there instances in other sports where this happens, where there's a lot of Canadians that come to US schools to play sports, or is this just
Unique to hockey.
hockey? Yeah.
I don't know. But it's so, I mean, the Frozen Four, you're always like Minnesota and Boston and um yeah, all the Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
So maybe it's big in the Ivy League. I don't
Well,
know. These are
Princeton, yeah, Princeton,
Princeton.
yeah, because that's where Vancouver's coach came from.
Hmm.
And then one of the coaches from the league left and went back. I shouldn't say went back. It's they took a job at Princeton.
Yeah.
Took the job at Princeton. So yeah, I mean, it's just it's an interesting thing. We're gonna learn more. We're gonna as we do our research on these, we'll figure out more, guys. And hey, feel free chime in. Let us know what you know. The draft was the first time, besides the expansion draft, which was kind of a different flavor than
Because those
just
are established players.
right, than just a regular draft. This was very new to me, and just very surprised with the knowledge base of the fan base. The fan base, no, I mean, the fans know so much about these players, and I'm just like, wait, how do you even know who these people are? I mean, other than the fact that there was a list of eligible, draftees, but besides that, I'm just like, how do we know who these players are? How do we know anything about them? So,
Just impressed too with the GMs, what the breadth of knowledge that they had to have, and the calls that they had to make, and the just the shuffling and the scrambling when the picks were made and who to go to next and who you were talking to. Honestly, huge kudos to Meg Turner and all the GMs out there.
yeah, I just wonder. I wonder if they knew when the pick came in. I mean, I wonder if anything through got anybody got thrown for a loop. Like that's kind of that. I mean, I would love to know. I mean, they're not going to tell us right now, but like in a couple years, I would love to hear about like how this went. Like if this was exactly what they were expecting. If Jenna Buglioni was the first, that was their first pick. They were hoping for her. That's what they wanted. It's really interesting because a lot of people were like, "Oh, are we going to go for a goalie first?" Which we went for a goalie second, which we weren't expecting either. But
And the word in the room was we did it way too early.
well, that's what, yeah, I think that's what a lot of people have been rumoring about. But I mean, I think we've rounded out our team. Like, I think that that's what we've done. I think that I think it'll be interesting to see how this team starts to train together and work together.
Yeah, how they
So,
gel.
and I guess, I mean, something else I didn't realize either is like, all of this isn't necessarily final yet either. Like, there still has to be like papers signed, and that doesn't always work out.
It doesn't.
So talk about that because that's another thing like I don't really know much about.
Well, I mean, I don't know the exact ins and outs
Right,
of
right,
it, but
right.
there are circumstances where somebody might not, it might, fall out. There might be some fallout and it might not happen. And there could be other trades too. Like, is the trade window closed?
I think it is closed right now and then it reopens. I think
Right.
that that's what
'Cause
it was closed. It closed from like I don't know because I feel like we were joking like oh things are going to calm down for a little while until the trade window opens back
that's right.
up.
Yeah,
And so I think it's like the 8th, so maybe Tuesday. Seems like
yeah.
everything happens on a Tuesday in this league. I think maybe Tuesday is when the trade window opens back up. So
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. And we haven't even talked about the new coach yet, have we?
Oh gosh, we haven't talked about the new coach. Okay, well maybe we should talk about the new coach.
Hmm, maybe next week.
Okay, we can do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I like talking about our first pick the first week because that it's important.
Oh no, it is our first pick. And we didn't say this. Congratulations, Jenna. We're excited to have you. We're excited to see you play. Um yeah, I mean, I from the little bit that I've seen of you, like it seems like you're going to be a really fun player to watch and the fans I'm sure here will love you and we're excited, we're excited just to get to know people and get to know the player, not like get to know you personally. Like I'm not weird.
I'll hike with you. Come
Oh,
hike
well,
with
that's
us.
true. Yeah, yeah. Jenna, if you want to come hike with us, we love to hike. We're hikers. So,
Absolutely.
when I was stalking her Instagram, I saw that she was a hiker because I was like, oh, what can I find out about her on Instagram? And really, guys, let's be honest. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for their sexuality. I'm looking to see if they have a girlfriend, they have a boyfriend, they have anything. And some of them are very unknown, and that's totally fine. And they can keep all that to themselves. They don't have to tell us what
You're
their
looking at
status
outfits
is.
too and
That's true.
kits and
I'm looking at
you've
outfits
got
and
prom dress.
yeah, prom dress. I saw a prom dress. These are the things that I look for, guys.
This is my
Relationships,
type.
yes. Clothing, prom dresses, like what do you do for fun? These are the things I'm interested in. I want the human side of the hockey player.
Absolutely.
Um, I'm interested in the hockey side of the hockey player too, because
But November is so
I
far.
know I think that
Like we
that's
have
kind of our
we haven't
struggle.
seen ourselves through this summer.
Yeah,
How
so
are
that's why
we gonna?
we decided we were like, okay, we'll just do one player a week because we're going to stretch this out, guys, because it's going to be a long summer without hockey.
It is.
For those of us that are lamenting the no hockey situation. So, but we're still keeping a finger on the pulse as far as what's going on. We did go a little silent on our social media, but again, that's because we were on vacation and with the holiday and everything. We're getting back in the swing of things, but we'll get back. We'll get back to it, and just can't wait. Can't wait for the season to start up, practices to start up. We'll try and get up to practices if we can, and just
Yeah.
be,
Every event we can, we're gonna get up there.
yeah, be involved. Yeah. And we're involved in the community too. And so that's the other thing is that, I would love to see some of the players do some community involvement. And that's another thing that it's very near and dear to me. So
Yes.
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Definitely.
So we need to talk about the coach, which we haven't done yet. We got to figure that out. And then we haven't even talked, we haven't even talked about the other players that we got during the free agency because life has been so
It's
crazy.
really,
Yeah.
like full-time jobs and families and
Yeah.
vacations and
Yeah.
there's a lot
Yeah.
and podcasts and
But we're gonna keep cranking these out once a week. That's our goal is to get these out once a week, especially once the season starts. Because then we'll have lots and lots of stuff to talk about because there'll be games and we can talk about games, and everything else that's going on. But right now, I think just trying to get an idea of who these players are and how they're going to work together. Obviously, we are novices. We don't have any special information, but I like to ask the questions that newbies ask because I think it's a good thing for people to get an intro into hockey that if they've never been in before.
and feel comfortable to ask those questions
So
because we want the fan base to grow, and to
yeah,
grow the fan base we need to have these discussions and be okay with saying, you know what, we don't know much about this.
yeah, yep. So again, Jenna, welcome to the PWHL Seattle. Welcome back home to the Pacific Northwest. I'm sure
We are
you're
excited
excited
to
to be
have you.
home, and we're excited to have you. Yeah, you're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from home.
Yeah.
So
Yay.
anyway, okay. I hope everybody has a really good week.
All
Any
right.
parting final thoughts?
No, we'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Bye-bye. And that's the show. Tune in next time for another episode of Gloves Off Seattle.